What if I told you that a simple action done just twice a day could restore your testosterone to what it was when you were 25? No shots, no pills, no complicated routines, just real, measurable results. Sounds impossible? It's not. I'm Dr. James. For over 30 years, I've helped thousands of men over 60 reclaim their vitality, strength, and sense of self, naturally. I'm not here to sell you hype. I'm here to share what's worked for my patients and for myself. How can someone in their 60s, 70s, even 80s possibly match the testosterone levels of a 25-year-old without medication? The answer isn't just surprising, it's empowering. You've likely never heard it put together this way before. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what to do, twice a day, to naturally trigger your body to restore and protect your testosterone levels. We're talking better energy, clearer thinking, a renewed sex drive, and the return of the fire you thought was long gone. And by the end of this video, I'll introduce you to a natural compound that's helping thousands of men restore their masculinity. And most have never even heard of it. Don't miss it. 1. The silent decline and why it's not your fault. For most men, something begins to shift quietly around their late 40s or early 50s. You can't quite put your finger on it at first. Maybe your mornings feel heavier. Your energy fades faster than it used to. You're not sleeping as deeply, and somewhere along the way, that inner fire, the quiet confidence you once carried, starts to dim. You might even start questioning yourself, wondering if this is just what aging feels like. As a doctor who's spent over 30 years working with men over 60, I've had these conversations hundreds of times. I've sat across from patients who were once soldiers, CEOs, athletes, men who had fire in their eyes, and now they tell me they feel like a shadow of who they used to be. And the hardest part, most of them think it's their fault, that they're just getting old. But I want to tell you something I wish every man knew sooner. This slow fade isn't your fault. It's not weakness, it's biology. By the time you hit 60, your testosterone levels may have dropped by up to 60% compared to when you were 25. And no one told you it was coming. No one prepared you for the fact that modern life, full of plastic toxins, nutrient-depleted food, and relentless stress, is quietly stealing your vitality. But here's the part that matters most. You can take it back. Your body hasn't forgotten how to be strong. It just needs the right tools. So what if you could start reversing that decline, starting today? That's exactly what we're getting into next. Let me show you how one simple action done every morning can begin to change everything. If you're still here and this message is resonating with you, just drop a number 1 in the comments so I know you're still with me on this journey. Now let's dive into the next powerful step. 2. What testosterone really does for men over 60. Testosterone isn't just about sex or muscle, it's something deeper. It's the quiet engine behind a man's drive, strength, and mental clarity. I've seen it time and again. When a man's testosterone begins to dip, it doesn't just show up in the bedroom, it shows up in his posture, his confidence, his outlook on life. You might start feeling more tired after simple tasks, or notice that it's harder to focus, to feel motivated, or even to connect emotionally with the people you love. What I often tell my patients is this: testosterone is the language your body uses to say, I am still here, I am still vital. It supports lean muscle, protects your bones, sharpens your memory, fuels your ambition, and yes, keeps intimacy alive, not just physically, but emotionally too. When your testosterone is balanced, everything feels more aligned. You're more likely to stay active, to laugh more often, to feel like yourself again. One of my patients, 67 years old, told me something that stuck with me. He said, I don't want to feel like I'm fading out of my own story. That hit me hard because I knew exactly what he meant, and I also knew we could change it. Within 2 months of following the right protocol, he was sleeping better, smiling more, and had rediscovered a spark he thought was long gone. The truth is, you don't have to fade. Not now, not ever. And what comes next might be the simplest, most powerful way to turn that truth into a reality. Let me take you straight into the exact 2-a-day routine that makes it possible. 3. The twice-a-day testosterone protocol. Here's the part where things get real and simple, because after years of treating men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, I've come to believe this. The body responds best to consistency, not complexity. And that's why this protocol, done just twice a day, has changed lives. I've seen men regain energy, libido, focus, even a sense of purpose they hadn't felt in decades. It starts in the morning. I tell my patients to treat breakfast like a daily ritual for their hormones. 2 whole egg yolks, yes, with the cholesterol, because cholesterol is the raw material your body needs to make testosterone. Add 1 Brazil nut for selenium, which protects the testes and enhances testosterone production. Then a spoonful of raw pumpkin seeds for zinc, the mineral that acts like a guardian, preventing your testosterone from being converted into estrogen. That's not just breakfast, it's a message to your body that strength and vitality matter again. Then comes the evening. A small amount of wild yam cream applied to the skin, just a fingertip's worth. It sounds too easy, I know, but natural compounds in wild yam have helped countless men restore balance by gently nudging their endocrine system back into action. I've had patients call me weeks later, stunned at the quiet confidence they started to feel returning. One even joked, "Doc, I've got the swagger of a 30-year-old and the wisdom to use it." But what makes this protocol truly work isn't just what you do, it's what you stop doing. Because chances are, something in your daily life is secretly stealing your testosterone. Let's talk about the hidden culprit that might be sitting in your kitchen right now. If you're still reading and these insights are striking a chord, type the number 1 in the comments to let me know you're here and engaged. Let's keep the momentum going as we move into point number 4. 4. Why this works. The science explained simply. I know some of you might be thinking, this all sounds good, but does it really work? I get it. After a certain age, we've heard enough promises to last a lifetime. But this isn't about hype. It's about biology. Your body is designed to produce testosterone. It hasn't forgotten how. It just needs the right building blocks and the right environment. Let me break it down the way I explain it to my own patients. Testosterone is made from cholesterol. That's why those egg yolks matter so much. They give your body the raw material it needs. Then you've got nutrients like zinc and selenium. These aren't just vitamins on a label, they're the spark plugs in your hormone engine. Without them, nothing fires right. Zinc keeps testosterone from being broken down too quickly. Selenium supports the actual cells in your testes that produce it. It's not magic, it's biochemistry. The wild yam cream? It doesn't give you testosterone, but it helps your body remember how to regulate hormones naturally. And when your cortisol, your stress hormone, goes down in the evening because of better nutrition and better rhythm, testosterone goes up. They're always in a delicate balance. Most men are shocked when they learn how these simple changes trigger powerful internal shifts, not just in hormone numbers, but in mood, strength, and how you feel in your own skin again. And once you understand what builds testosterone, it's just as important to understand what destroys it. The next thing we need to talk about may be hiding in plain sight, and chances are you've used it today without realizing the cost. 5. What to stop doing immediately. Sometimes the things hurting us most are the ones we don't even notice. I've had men follow the right diet, use the right supplements, even stick to a good sleep schedule, but their testosterone still stayed low. Why? Because while they were doing all the right things, they were also unknowingly sabotaging their progress with one invisible mistake: daily exposure to hormone disruptors. One of the biggest culprits is plastic. That bottle of water you refilled 3 times, the container you microwaved your lunch in, the soft plastic wrap on your leftovers. These are often loaded with chemicals like BPA and phthalates, compounds that mimic estrogen in the body. And for a man over 60 already dealing with declining testosterone, these estrogen-like chemicals are like pouring water on a fading flame. I've seen guys clean up their diet and still struggle until they stopped storing hot food in plastic, switched to glass or stainless steel, and ditched those old water bottles. The difference? Within weeks, their energy came back. They felt clearer, lighter, more alive. Because now their body wasn't just trying to produce testosterone, it wasn't fighting against an invisible enemy at the same time. What you take in matters, but what you eliminate, that might matter even more. And when you combine this awareness with consistent daily action, things start to change quickly. So now let's bring it all together in a way you can follow every single day, simply, clearly, and effectively. What comes next is your personal roadmap to reclaiming your strength. 6. Daily Action Plan. After decades in medicine, I've learned that most men don't need more complicated routines. They need clarity. They need to know exactly what to do every single day to get their body working for them again. That's what this action plan is all about. It's simple. It's doable. And most importantly, it works. Every morning, before anything else, give your body the fuel it's been missing. 2 whole egg yolks gently cooked, 1 Brazil nut, a tablespoon of raw pumpkin seeds. This isn't just breakfast, it's hormone therapy from your own kitchen. You're giving your body the cholesterol, selenium, and zinc it needs to begin producing testosterone like it did decades ago. Then move. Even if it's just a 20-minute walk, get your blood flowing. I always say motion feeds the mind and the hormones, and when evening rolls around, take just 1 minute to apply the wild yam cream. A small amount, rubbed into the soft skin of your inner arm or chest. It becomes a daily reminder, your body's second cue of the day to rebalance and rebuild. Stay hydrated, sleep deeply, avoid plastics, keep sugar low. That's it. You don't need to overhaul your life, just realign it. Small daily decisions that add up to a big shift. And while structure is key, there's one more ingredient that turns these actions into lasting change. It's not something you eat or apply, it's something you feel. It's the reason many men stay stuck and the reason others break free. Let's talk about that next. 7. Emotional truth. You are still a man. There's something I need you to hear, and I want you to really let it sink in. Just because you've gotten older doesn't mean you've lost what makes you a man. It may feel like you're fading, like your energy, confidence, and purpose have slipped quietly out the back door, but they haven't. They're still there, buried under stress, time, and years of being told to just accept the decline. I've sat across from men who used to command boardrooms, run marathons, raise families, and now they barely recognize the person in the mirror. The worst part? They think this is just how aging works. But I'm here to tell you that fire is not gone. It's simply waiting to be reignited. And when it comes back, when you feel strength in your body, clarity in your mind, and desire in your spirit, you'll remember exactly who you are. Testosterone is part of the story, yes, but it's also about identity. Purpose. The quiet pride of feeling like a man again. Not just because of what you can do, but because of how you feel inside your own skin. That's what we're really restoring here. I've seen men in their 60s and 70s get their edge back, not because they found a miracle, but because they believed they still had it in them and acted on that belief. And now, as we move forward, I want to share one final piece, something almost no one talks about, but that could be the missing link to unlocking your vitality for good. 8. The final ingredient. Few talk about. There's one natural compound that I rarely hear mentioned in mainstream conversations about men's health, yet I've seen it quietly change lives in my practice. It's called maca root, and while it's not a magic pill, it can be a powerful ally, especially for men over 60. Grown high in the Andes, this root has been used for centuries by native populations to support strength, energy, and yes, vitality. What makes maca different is that it doesn't force your body to produce testosterone. Instead, it helps your entire hormonal system come back into balance. It supports the endocrine system, calms stress responses, and subtly boosts libido and mood. I've had patients who added just a teaspoon a day to their smoothies or oatmeal and came back weeks later feeling more alive, more like themselves. One man, 71 years old, told me he felt like he was walking around with the lights turned back on, not just physically, but emotionally too. He was laughing more, sleeping better, feeling connected to his wife again after years of quiet distance. That's what real vitality does. It brings you back into your life. Maca root is safe, natural, and easy to find. And when paired with the daily habits you've learned so far, it becomes a final piece of a powerful puzzle. Sometimes it's not just the big changes, but the small, consistent ones that unlock the biggest results. And now, as we bring all of this together, let's answer the questions you may still be wondering, because chances are, if you're thinking it, you're not alone. 9. Frequently asked questions. Over the years, I've heard the same honest questions from men who are just starting this journey. Some hopeful, some skeptical, and all of them understandable. One of the first things I'm usually asked is this really safe for someone my age? And the answer is yes. Everything we've talked about, foods, nutrients, wild yam cream, maca root, is natural, gentle, and supports your body's own systems. I still encourage every man to talk to his doctor, but I can tell you from experience, this approach has helped more men than I can count. Another question I hear often is, how long does it take to feel a difference? For some, it's within 2 weeks. For others, it's closer to 2 months. But when the changes come, they're real. More energy, more focus, better sleep, stronger connection. One man told me the first thing he noticed was that he started waking up before his alarm again for the first time in 10 years. That kind of change runs deeper than numbers on a lab test. And yes, many men ask where to find quality maca or yam cream. Health food stores or trusted online brands are great places to start. Simplicity matters. Stick with pure, unprocessed forms. These questions matter because they show you're invested in doing this right. And now that you've come this far, you might be wondering the same thing. My patients often ask at the end of their first visit, what happens next? Let's answer that together, because the next step could be the beginning of everything you've been missing. Final message from Dr. James. If you've read this far, I want to say something from the heart. You've already taken the hardest step, deciding that you're not ready to fade quietly. That matters more than you know, because everything we've covered, eating for hormone strength, avoiding plastics, applying the yam cream, walking each day, even adding a teaspoon of maca, it only works if you believe you're still worth fighting for, and you are. I've seen firsthand how quickly things can change when a man commits to showing up for himself again. I've watched shoulders straighten, eyes brighten, voices grow stronger, not because of some miracle cure, but because of consistent, simple choices made twice a day. The egg yolks, the pumpkin seeds, the wild yam. These are just tools. What really changes things is when a man finally says, I want to feel like myself again, and then actually does something about it. So let me remind you of what we've uncovered together. Testosterone is not just a hormone, it's a symbol of strength, drive, and connection. Losing it doesn't mean you've lost who you are. And getting it back? That's about more than biology. It's about reclaiming your role in your own life. I hope this guide has given you clarity, encouragement, and something more, a spark of possibility, because I believe you're capable of more than you've been told. This is your time and you're not done yet. You know what to do. Twice a day, every day. Now the only question left is, will you begin?